Grand Rising, all my lovely people on this Thursday morning. What's up? So, most of the time when I go live, I've been on the mountaintop, so no difference here. This mountain that I climb every now and again, and I'm really connected to this mountain. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but because spirit is spirit is spirit, everything's connected. I get a message, almost a sermon, if you will, while I'm on this mountain. I get these messages from spirit, but they're in the form of the mountain giving me the messages, if that makes any sense to you. It makes sense to me. Sorry. I tell people I'm starting talking cursive now, But I get on this mountain and I get these messages, and they're so significant to my spiritual journey that I have to share them. I can't keep them to myself. Some of the messages are for me, but the majority of them are universal truths, if you will. So the first one that I'm going to share is the reason why it's so important to connect with nature. And I'm a spiritual person, and if you follow me on Instagram, you see my posts. There's a bunch of spiritual memes, and they tell you things to do to raise your vibration, raise your consciousness, vibrate higher. And one of the things is connect with nature. I am the type of person, you cannot tell me to do something and not explain to me why. I'm just inquisitive like that. So I'm why is this so important? Logically, we can understand why. You know what I'm saying? We're mammals. We're part of nature. In the city, we're disconnected from nature a lot of the times. But I found out today it's something more than that. So in this part in my spiritual journey, I've been connecting with the elements a lot, calling on the elements, and I didn't understand why until today. It's because they're ancient. It's because fire has been around since the earth has been around, and water and air and all of these elements are so ancient that I really feel a connection with them, because I really feel like they have a lot of knowledge inside of them. So this is the reason why we should connect with nature pertaining to the elements. So we connect with the air every day, right? We breathe. We're naturally connected to the air. Even though the air is probably polluted, we still connected to the air. We even connect with the water every day because we wash our butts, we drink water. We're connected with the water. We connect with the fire every day. We have fire inside of our house. We use lighters. We connect with that element. We cook. But we don't really connect with earth like that, because a lot of the things that we've made are artificial. The streets are artificial. The roads are artificial. And we don't really connect with that. So that is the missing element that we come from, ashes to ashes, dust to dust type stuff. We go back to when we die, and we don't really connect with it. So Mount was explaining to me why it's so important to connect with earth, because it's a missing element. And then took it a little even step further with me and was these mountains have been around a long time, before Vegas was a city and all the hustle and bustle of the traffic behind me was there. That mountain in front of me was there. So the connection is the information is so deeply rooted in the consciousness of that mountain, And then said, why do you think mountains are considered holy ground? Why do you think Moses went to a mountain to get the 10 Commandments? Why do you think that the Elijah Muhammad went to a mountain and received the revelation to write the Quran? Because there's information on these mountains. I'm gonna take it a step further. The guy, and I forgot his name, forgive me. I'm not all the way a good scholar, I'm not all the way disciplined. No, I'm not from Vegas. I'm actually from Chicago. And I don't know what possessed me to move to Vegas. Like, everything in me just told me to pack up my family and move. I don't even know nobody here. Yeah. But when I was up on that mountain today, it was like, this is one of the reasons why, I'm glad that I follow my spirit, because this is one of the reasons why I moved, was so that I could have the opportunity to be on that mountain. So the guy that received the knowledge of how to do Reiki received the knowledge on a mountain. So it was like, duh. I was like, duh. Yeah, they're energetic places. They're these, it's so much information. So another message I got was, as I was going up the mountain, and there's a part where it's like really steep, and this is not a popular mountain to climb. I'm gonna tell you guys this. There are mountains in Vegas that the trails and everybody are on them and everybody knows them and they're famous, and those are the easy ones. This mountain, I've been out here a couple of months now. I've seen a couple of people, but it's not an easy mountain to climb. And the mountain said, shit, if it was easy, everybody would do it. And I equated that to the spiritual journey. Even if it was easy, everybody would do it. The last video that I posted on Instagram was about shadow work and all of this, energy patterns that required shadow work at the time. This was like a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week ago. I posted that video. But shadow work is not an easy thing to do, because, like I said, you're literally going into the depths of hell. You're going into your root chakra, your lower chakras, and you're going into them and digging up all the things that have settled into your subconscious that you don't use on a normal basis. You know what I'm saying? I did some shadow work this morning before I went to the mountain, and I don't even want to get into the conversation, because it was really hard, because I'm generally a happy person. I'm generally a strong, fearless, loving individual, if I could describe my own characteristics. But for me to go into the recesses of my subconscious and start digging out this trauma that's been there since I was 5 years old, the fear that came up with it, I think the only reason I could do it now is because I have a better spiritual connection with actually hearing my guides, so I know I'm not alone. But shoot, y'all. But, if it was easy, everybody would do it, For some people, that mountain is just a mountain. It's not sacred ground. It's not part of their spiritual journey. They're just exercising. For me, it's this whole ritualistic sacrament type of thing that's going on with me. And as I was climbing the mountain, I was thinking about the people that I love, and I was thinking about the people that aren't doing what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? My children are at home while I was climbing the mountain. They were at home asleep, and I was thinking about them. I was thinking about my best friend. I was thinking about the people that I love, and I was going, well, I'm doing this and I'm growing and I'm learning all this stuff, and I'm going to these higher levels of consciousness, and it's great and it's wonderful, but what about them? And the mountain reminded me of a message that I gave my daughter. As you go higher, you take the people that you love along with you, even if you do it energetically or spiritually, even if you're not doing it in the physicality. And I basically wanted to give that message to people that are starting to disconnect from mainstream society. that, their spiritual journey is taking them away from people and taking them away from the things that they used to do and the connections that they used to have. And they have family members now that they can't relate to anymore, and the family members can't relate to them. And it might feel pretty disconnected, even though that, in spirit, everything is connected. We know this. But it still feels in this body, in this journey, like it's pretty disconnected. So the message was, you take them with you. And basically, if you're raising your own consciousness, you're raising the consciousness of the entire planet. So if you don't do anything, if you don't teach or share or get out there and do charitable acts or whatever you've determined in your own mind is a good thing to do, even if you do nothing but work on yourself and work on making you a better person, you're helping the entire consciousness of the planet, because thoughts become things. Those things that you're doing don't stay inside of here. Y'all, I saw a freaking documentary that was the physics of the theory of thoughts become things. They actually proved it. I was like, I knew it. And they actually proved it. I'm gonna try to find it and post it, because I was like, I knew it. But you take those people with you. For me to be able to connect in the spirit world, connect my consciousness, because it don't even stay in my body no more. It just don't stay in there. I was talking to, I wish I could do a video of just all the crazy things that have happened to me in the past 2 months. Maybe I will one of these days. But yeah, it don't even stay there. Sometimes I'm completely grounded inside of my body, but I'm not even all the way there. But the good thing about being able to be in the spirit world is I can connect with people on a spirit, energetic, conscious level, a level of consciousness that even if they're not physically there, I can connect with them. I connect with live people that are alive, people that died. It's pretty cool. And because I took notes, because it was a lot. And I'm just giving y'all the cliff notes just so this live won't be that long. Because it was a lot. I was up there for a long time. It was a lot. And there was this one part. Okay, so I was at the top of the mountain. I'm going to tell you the story about what happened to me at the top of the mountain at the end. But so I was at the top of the mountain, and I was on my way back down. And the way I had went up was not the way I was coming down. And you could clearly see, like when I looked, I was like, oh, the path is over there. But where I was easier, even though I saw, the grooves of all the people that had been that way. But where I was, I had kind of went around this way to go down. And the message I received was, follow your own freaking path. Like, don't follow your own path. Because sometimes your path ain't gonna look like what the majority of the rest of society is doing. Your path might not look like what their path looks like. Like I said, some people go on that mountain to exercise. They're not receiving information from the mountain. They're not tuning into the mountain's consciousness and getting downloads of messages. You know what I'm saying? But they path ain't my path. And I can't worry about what they doing, For me, and I'm sharing, follow your own path. And it might not look like what everybody else's path might look like. The thing with right now, because we're going through this whole spiritual awakening thing, and people are waking up that ain't never woke up before. Y'all forgive me, I'm silly. But people waking up and they're going, what the heck is happening? What do I do? And other people are going, oh yeah, do X, Y, and Z. Do this, eat this, go there, do that. And I'm like, everybody's path ain't everybody else's path. I'm telling these people, if you want to truly be authentic in this journey, find what works for you. find your connection. And it might be trial and error. And you might do it. Hell, y'all, I ain't know I was going to be hiking a year ago. You couldn't tell me I was going to be up a freaking mountain. I'm from Chicago. Like, please. From Chicago and from the city part of Chicago. You know, I ain't from the rural. I'm from the rural with the nature. I'm from the city part. I never knew that would be part of my path. But my advice would be trust that inner voice that talks to you. A lot of times we don't trust our intuition. But as you begin to trust it, it'll get louder and it'll get more confident. You'll become more confident in your own intuition. Trust your inner voice and trust your experiences, which leads to my last thing. Nothing is by accident, y'all. Nothing is by accident. And I'm realizing that even in my spiritual journey up until this point, actively, it's been blind faith. It's been trusting my intuition. If my intuition whispers to me, don't do that, you know, I don't do it. If my intuition tells me, go that way, I go, you know. And I didn't stop even going, are you sure? I just do it. Intuition told me, bring my butt to this mountain today. And I wasn't going to because it's cold outside. It's cold. It is cold. My feet are cold. Right now I'm sitting in this car with the heat on. But intuition told me, take my butt to that mountain. And my best friend was like, girl, go. She was like, yo, intuition told I was going to tell you too. So I was on the phone and I was like, all right, I'm going, you know. But at first I went outside and it was cold and it was hazy and it was cloudy and I was like, I ain't gonna go. And then it was like, go. So it's follow that little voice inside of you. And then see how you feel. Just pay attention to how you feel. How does it make you feel? You know? You don't have to necessarily. It took me a long time, y'all, to meditate every day. Long time, because it wasn't for me then. I wasn't ready then. And even it took me a longer time to deal with the shadow work and the traumas that I'm dealing with now. Like, I've been meditating for 12 years at this point, and I just got to the point where it's a regular part of my woo. You know, because when I wasn't ready, I wasn't ready. So even though people were saying, meditate, you need to meditate, it was like my intuition was like, you need to look at some more stuff first before you do that. But what I realized is nothing is by accident. So even if you think that you're fiddle-faddling along in your spiritual journey and, you know, you kind of don't know, it's not by accident. Nothing that you come across. I used to say that because I knew that was true in theory. You know what I'm saying? And now Spirit is starting to show me the little... It happens so much now. It be tripping me out. I'll think about something and then I'll see it. Or 2 days ago, I came across something. And then 2 days later, somebody will be talking about it. And I'll be like, oh, and it's so freaky. It is so freaky. And I started like learning that like things that happened years ago, 8-9 years ago, memories that I have of events. Now it makes sense why that happened, why I met that person, why, you know, y'all, and it's everything just starts to line up and it's like making perfect sense. And it took me 12 years for some of this stuff. Like, do y'all know? Of course you don't, but I realized just recently that I had an out-of-body experience 12 years ago, but I didn't know it was an out-of-body experience. Like, because I didn't know, and I know about out-of-body experiences. I've studied them. I started studying them when I first got the internet and got into meditation and stuff. But I didn't know I had one. And then I had one recently. And the one I had recently made me realize that I had one 12 years ago. It took 12 years for that synchronicity. So I stopped saying coincidences. I don't even use that word no more because I realized there's no such thing. I say synchronicities because synchronicities are divine timing things that line up so that you can know that you're connected to the divine. And I started noticing them. And the more that I noticed them, the more they happening. And y'all, for real, I don't know if they're happening to everybody. I don't know if this is happening to everybody. Probably. I just noticed that I just started paying attention. So now I'm out in the world with my eyes open like, you looking for them, looking for them, looking for them. Because I see that they're happening. And it's the coolest thing. It's like magic. It really is. Like, I started realizing that magic is real. It just isn't in the sense of the way we learned it. So, okay. So usually I get my playlist together, right, to go up on the mountain. And usually I'll listen to, I have all my little spiritual things that I do. And I'll listen to binaural beats while I'm on the mountain. And I listen to 528 hertz the most because that's the healing frequency. That's the healing tone. And, by me getting rid of this trauma, I've dealt with chronic pain for years. And synchronicity. It took me 9 years to figure out the origin of the freaking pain, and it was right there in front of my face the whole time. And for me, it's like I couldn't solve it if I didn't know where it came from. That's another synchronicity. It was so crazy. It was like I was talking to somebody and it just came. I was like, yeah, that's where it came from. But okay, I'm getting off subject. I do that. I'm rambling. So I'm going up the mountain and I'm getting my playlist together. And I'm listening to my beats. And what happened is, because the Apple has the auto play and it'll play things similar, right? And so I'll get a whole playlist full of beats. Just, different hertz, different hertz frequencies. 417, 963, 528. I get all these different frequencies. And so what I do is I use my discernment, because some of those tones are not all the way pure, but I just use my intuition. My intuition to be like, it just won't sound all the way right to me. It won't settle up in here. So I'll be like, I'll skip to the next one. So, I'm talking to myself, my intuition. Intuition tells me your playlist is perfect. That's exactly what I heard. Your playlist is perfect. So I look down. The Isley Brothers is in my playlist, y'all. Let me turn that heat down. The Isley Brothers is in my playlist. I'm like, that's weird. I've never had the Isley Brothers pop up in my my Hertz playlist. But like I just heard your playlist is perfect. So I'm like, all right. So before I go to the mountain, I'm talking to my best friend, and she says, look, you've been doing all this shadow work. Whatever happens on that mountain, just let it happen. Whether you cry, laugh, whatever happens, just go with it. Don't worry. Because I had a bunch of fear from my shadow work that I was, trying to work through. And she was like, that's why I was on the phone with her. And she was like, don't worry, just do whatever. It's like, all right, cool. Start up the mountain. So I get to this point that I'd never gotten before. Like, I passed my previous mark on the mountain. And it was like, I started crying, but it was like these tears of just God, heaven. I don't even know how to describe it. Just love, compassion. It was just all around me. So I'm all right. So I'm going up the mountain. Listening to my beats, going up the mountain. So I'm talking to Spirit, and I'm going, how do I know when to stop? And Spirit says, you'll know. I say, all right, cool. I'll go up the mountain. And I get to a point where I'm seeing it, and I'm going, okay, this is probably where I need to stop. And as it's coming, I'm seeing it. And the moment I stop, y'all, the Isley Brothers song started playing. I'm talking about split second. It happened so perfectly. I just burst out laughing. The song, I've never heard this Isley Brothers song before, ever, y'all. And the song, the name of it is Love the One You With. And the words started going, and the words were like so perfect to match what I'm going through in my journey. And it was like, I know sometimes you feel alone, and I know sometimes you're confused, and and I'm just up there cracking up like a crazy person. I'm like, if anybody sees me right now, they're gonna be like, this chick is nuts. And I was like, it was like, if you can't love the one you want, love who you with. I'm by myself. Love yourself. Like, I was just like, and I'm up there, and I'm just standing there, and there is 3 pathways up there, and I'm standing there like somebody had built a pyramid up there with some rocks. That shit was freaky deaky too. That was crazy. But there's 3 pathways that I could take, and I didn't go down either. I just stood there, and I realized I'm listening to the song. One pathway led up to the mountains. The other pathway was this pathway led, it was a dead end, but it was a whole pathway there, and it looped around. Like, it was a real, like I could tell people would walk that way thinking it was a path there, and it was a dead end. And I felt like that was very significant to the spiritual journey and the ascension. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna go, and this might make sense to some and none to others, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Because of the ascension process, there are 3 things happening. There are, and if you want me to cite this information, I got this information from the book, The Law of One, the book of Ra, that was channeled by Ra, the sun god. That's a 6-dimensional entity, okay? So, I got this information long time ago, 2011. But it's relevant for, it was relevant for 2012 too. But it's really relevant for 2020 and 2021 because of this whole harvest thing that's going on. So you got these 3 paths. You got 51% service to others, where you go into a 4th density, which the 4th density is really just a transition to the 5th density. But you still learn the lessons. If you're going into the positive part, the matrix will start glitching. You'll see it. Weird things will start happening, and it's 51% service to others. And it's not anything you did. It's just what you did, naturally, or intention. And then there is a 4th density, negative polarity. They call it the positive and the negative polarities. You have to be 95% service to self, which is very hard because most humans are born with the innate tendencies to be compassionate to each other. And then the people that didn't do either kind of repeat the same cycle. They nothing happens to them. They just stay in 3rd density. So to me, it was like the dead end represented the 3rd density. One path was the 4th density, polarity positive, and the other path was the 4th density, polarity negative. And it's like you can go down either path. And I was just like, okay, So I hope I've said something that touched your hearts. I'm finna get off this live. I'm gonna go home and soak in the tub. But I will say this. Love is just a thing that everybody could do. It's something that we all have in common, that we all have the capabilities of doing, that we came here with, okay? So, don't forget to use it today. Don't forget to use it. Don't forget to use it as much as you want. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later.